What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CWL replay. That's what I'm calling it. I was calling it the recast. I don't really like that. Didn't really fit with the whole brand thing. So I went with replay. You like it? It's just a thing. I don't know. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not even sure if I like it. But what I know I do like is very close Call of Duty games. We've got one on deck for you. Red Reserve, if I can say words correctly. We'll be taking on Evil Geniuses. This was the second match of their pool plays. Previously to this game, Evil Geniuses had beat UYU at a pretty convincing stat line, and then Red Reserve had coming off a loss to Luminosity Gaming, which it was a little bit close at certain different points. So we weren't exactly what we were sure to expect from Evil Geniuses. Obviously, we weren't really expecting much after their pretty horrendous online performances. And Red Reserve, you know, okay, they lose a Luminosity, but we expect them to do well. This would be a very big turning point in pool play off the first day. So we'll dig into it. Hope you enjoy. Here we are, first and foremost, on a hard point match of Hacienda. Muy bueno. It's about the limitation of my Spanish right there. No, I'm just kidding. I took 4 years, but I don't remember half of it. So let's dig in. We've got Red Reserve again going up against Evil Geniuses. It will be Red Reserve in the red with Joe Bance rated 0 in scraps, going up against Evil Geniuses in the blue. Gunjar, Royalty, Fellow, Exotic, and Saints. Of course, Exotic being the, I guess we'll call him the subject of a very interesting change. And ooh, the concussion will actually take what looked to be 0 out of his grapple, so not able to come on through, and Saints finds himself a very early aggressive push for 2. Bance trying to return with one of his own. Joe will help out, and it will be Red Reserve stuck at this, the 5 for so forth. You see on the top a little bit of a mix-up of the, not the colors, but the logos. The colors are correct, so just kind of reverse those in your head. We are at 11 points, and again, the second point will be over in this fancy garage full of all of these wonderful cars that I'm sure most of us wish we could consider our own. And setting things up, it will be a fight right over the middle near the double stairs. And it looks like that fight is being won at the moment by Red Reserve. Scraps winning a little bit of an outside fight right near the rock. That means that this spawn, with that kill there, especially from Bance on Exotic, who was trying to push for spawns, it means that this point will be secured by the side of Red Reserve. Evil Geniuses still want to crack through the middle portion of this map. You see 2 people on the twin spiral stairs trying to push on out, but the concussion will be good to hopefully take down Saints, but oh, he doesn't peek it. Interesting. Joe had an angle there. Could have picked up one, but now he gets turned on by the flank, and now Bance and the rest of the squad trying to rotate in from their spawns, but there are 3 players from Evil Geniuses on top, and Scraps will find 2 from the flank, but Gunjar with the ICR will be too good to come through, almost taken down, rated as well. Exotic will clean up what was left, but still Red Reserve at 29 points, just the 21 of Evil Geniuses. 0 coming through, finding himself a double kill out of the side door, looking for one more over the lobby, but won't be able to do it. Trying to get some help from Scraps, who has looked good so far. He's 5 and 4 overall. But it will be Evil Geniuses to retain possession, which is fine with 12 seconds left. Red Reserve will just take that defeat, look for some rotation kills as they already have themselves locked in for potentially the next point. Or pardon me, I'm looking at this backwards. They still have control of the Lambo point and want to try to find the rotation kills, which Evil Geniuses are put themselves 2 on fence line, 1 in the back barn, but it will be Fellow and Royalty cleaning up all that early aggression from Red Reserve. Joe will peek into this with 1 more. Him and 0 want to make something happen, but now with Joe by himself, how hard will he actually commit? Looks like he wants to push through fence line, but Exotic is there with the spam from the Maddox to do the job. Saints up top on the platform. We'll be able to take down 1 before trading away. That's enough work to help Royalty come on through, and Evil Geniuses will continue to hold on to this point rather securely. Got them about all 30 seconds of it so far, looking to capitalize and make this more of an even game, which they will right now. 0 jumping on in. We'll catch Gunjar a little bit off guard, but no worry. Fellow and Exotic were there to at least trade out before that point. Will he finally contest it from Saints, who finds himself 2? Not bad whatsoever, and Rated, who actually picks off a teammate while searching for Royalty, will not be able to hold on the scrap time of 5 seconds. Saints is the only one left here. He's going to pop the TAC 5 to help his teammates on the other side of the map take those last 4 seconds and then rotate back over to the rock side, which is our final hard point before our second rotation comes through. Evil Genius is there first and foremost, but Exotic does take down a friendly, so a little bit of a trade here. The concussion does land, although, well, does it? 0 actually does get taken down, but will be traded away. So numbers still on point for Evil Geniuses, but an even contest coming through for Red Reserve, although Gunjar and Royalty will turn that around very quickly. The Saga of Royalty ringing true. He's sitting at 11 and 10. Gunjar playing a little bit more passive with this ICR is at 11 and 5. No, Royalty finds another. He's on a 4 streak at the moment, probably getting pretty close to his score streaks. He finds himself a 5th and still is alive, and he's getting a lot of valuable point time. Royalty pushing out for another. Will get the hip fire down. He's got a grab slam, wants to grapple out, and will put himself right in front of the shark tank. A good escape. Still has to find the kill. Scraps will challenge and be taken down. And now we're looking really close. One more kill and Royalty will be at the first part of his streaks. It would be great to get that lightning strike and that hellstorm if possible. The point will fade away and we'll be back to the middle. And Royalty is one of the only players with their specialty weapon. We'll find one kill, peeking for the second, but Bance has got rated in support. And they will find one, but that'll allow Fellow to peek the right side window for free and take down one member of Red Reserve on the point. But Red Reserve already found themselves a good 10-15 seconds on this point. It looks like they're going to find more than that as Rated is coming around the flank, but won't be able to trade out the gunfight versus Fellow. We do again have those streaks for Royalty and a number of specialist weaponry on the table. Nothing having been used yet. Rated with the ICR from Rock will be able to get the open kill. And again, Red Reserve finding a lot of value out of this point. Now looking for a couple of trade kills, though, as everyone steps off the point for a quick second. Exotic will find that void and fill it. And he will actually find himself 2 kills as well, trading up one on his top right side window and then trading another one who came out the double doors from the bottom middle. And that will be the last 5 seconds on our central point. We will rotate over to the Lamborghini area. And it looks like there will be Zero in the water pushing on up, and he will try to get himself onto the rock, but Royalty snuck up right behind him. Not going to make much of a difference as Red Reserve have got themselves a control not only of the point, but also of the spawns. Grab Slam tries to come through, but Royalty gets shut down immediately by 2 players from Red Reserve who were there. They'll trade away a couple of other staggered kills, and now with numbers and a lot of time to breathe, what can Red Reserve find on this point? They do find the trophy system, and Zero will track down the rest of Royalty. Looking for another on a Gunjar. Oh, thought he had him. Fortunately, his teammates were there for support because he did not quite have enough shots to clean it up, but Zero will escape with his life, and Red Reserve will retain the point for potentially what looks like to be the next 20 seconds as Evil Geniuses on your minimap to the left are already rotating towards that winery. They're going to play up top by the fences and in that platform. Cluster grenade goes out. That's a good one, too. It finds Gunjar. It looked like most of the HP of Fellow as well after it exploded in a radius. Rated trying to make his way on into the point with the ICR. Not usually great up close, but does have a Maddox as well, but he does not see Fellow, who's happy to take him way out in the open. But Red Reserve has taken the lead off of that previous hard point. They found all of the last 20 seconds of it and now looking to make a way into this winery area. A nice little flank from Rated and Squad. We'll try to trap this away, and will they flip the spawns? Looks like they will, as Exotic has spawned all the way out by where the next point will be by the rock. Nowhere near this engagement whatsoever. Red Reserve are starting to gain this lead up to about 20. Sounds like the Tempest has been popped. At least it was for quite a second. Was it from Scraps? Not 100% sure, as I thought I heard some zapping going on, but Evil Geniuses will clean up all of Red Reserve on the point and find themselves a break and a retake. That's exactly what they need. One more player here is Scraps on the respawn. Again, he respawned so closely, but it looks like with him coming through and the rest of the team spawning, they will leave Rated on the point and send everybody else into aggressive fashion for the next point, which will unlock right now. And Zero and Exotic will look to trade each other in a 50-50 fight. And Evil Genius is now on the point, trying to get themselves within shouting distance of this lead for Red Reserve, which now it's just 10 points. Gunjar with the ICR able to take down one coming out of the boathouse, and looking for a second out the window was Rated, and he gets taken up. But Bance has pulled out the War Machine, and he's already found himself 2. He does get taken down by a bash, but regardless, he has cleared up a lot of this zone. And Royalty moving forward aggressively with the grapple, and now the Song. Will it ring true? Only for 1. Exotic and support Fellow as well with the Maddox will pop the Vision Pulse. That will allow Evil Geniuses to see exactly where all of Red Reserve are coming from. Nobody is spawning behind, which was the uncertainty. Although Fellow not able to find as much success as he wanted. It will be taken away after he does get dropped by Rated. Nice little headshot there. Exotic in the water won't be able to stay there for very long. And Saints is well taken, so the last couple of seconds will go Red Reserve's way, and now it's Rated who pops the Vision Pulse on this rotation back towards the center, and Scraps, he's got himself that Tempest, so he didn't use it earlier, and the hipfire is good to take down his second kill there. He's got that Vision Pulse, so with this combination, can he find more value? Still 10 shots left, he tracks down one more. And now from behind, if it'd be big if he could hit it, but he won't be able to do so. Saints and Fellow coming out of the side door, and they'll push on in, and Red Reserve's lead will be stalled at the current moment at 187. Evil Geniuses with 30 seconds left to capture here, and Red Reserve is playing this very patiently. Trying to wall bang a little bit as Goonjar, but from the bottom of Fire Pit, he's not quite able to do as much damage as he wanted to. Fortunately, Saints is up top flanking, and the rest of the squad will try to get there, but Zero will help initiate that. Now we'll look at this, 15 seconds left, and look at where Exotic is playing. He's sitting all the way back by Limo. He's got one other with support. They want to lock down these spawns. They know they're still spawning out. This is essentially going to be a 2, potentially on 5, and Exotic has found himself 2. Zero wants to peek this one, but Exotic has got these well-trimmed hedges right in front of him, and Goonjar with support to find 2 on the side. So even though Evil Geniuses do not have the point at the moment, they do control the spawns. If Goonjar can stay alive here, it would be big. Exotic finds 1 kill in the hill with his cluster grenade, but nothing else, as there was a good concussion being tossed Goonjar's direction, but Fellow from the water will jump on up and put himself right in the thick of things. The trophy system being annoying, but prone down was zeroed. He won't stay up for very long. Exotic took care of the trophy system and now is letting the War Machine ring out. Only finds 1 before he gets concussed and taken down by Bance. So now we're at 211 to 203, 25 seconds left, and Evil Geniuses look like this is going to potentially break, as there's a lot of players here from Red Reserve still funneling, but Exotic able to find 2 kills on the trade, which gives them numbers on point. Exotic with another over by the water, so 3 players from Evil Geniuses, and they had control of spawns. They'll take that rest of that time and move it to above 220, so within shouting distance of winning this one, but Red Reserve have rotated back towards that main office. And they want to play platform and fences to try to hold down this winery hardport as long as humanly possible. They can win off this. Both teams needing this point very, very quickly. A lot of trades happening to and fro, and they will be left with a 3-on-2 on point, favoring Evil Geniuses, but Rated is already there with a great angle, and will escape down behind the fences as Zero comes flying in with the SOG for 2. And now Red Reserve all of a sudden above 229, getting to within 20 points. Evil Geniuses desperately need a break. What do they have available? They have attack 5. Zero has a grab slam, pardon me, for the side of Red Reserve. 2 kills coming out for Evil Geniuses, but traded away immediately, and Red Reserve will hold on. Looking for 1 more in the barn. This is the last player. They need to find this kill, but Rated doesn't want to give up the position. Attack 5 has been popped, but it doesn't really result in much as Exotic goes down quickly. Now we're on to the point. 244 and counting. Royalty drops. It's a 3-on-5 on point. Evil Genius is still contesting. Goonjar finding himself 2 and not able to heal in time with Scrap, so Fellow will try to commit to the point, but it's only in contest. 248 with 5 seconds left, and Evil Geniuses will swing it around Exotic with a double kill. That'll at least put it into contest. 248 to 228, and the rotation has already happened for Evil Geniuses over on the rock, but Rated, he's put down a colossal lightning strike, and that will clean up everybody on rock. Bance is there to secure the last little bit, and this one will end 250 to 232, favoring Red Reserve. What a clutch lightning strike that was. This was the play from Fellow coming right out of water, able to clean up this Lambo point, turn around with a concussion, which does get blown up by the trophy, but not going to make a difference. You'll see this opponent proned up, and he will find the 3rd, which allows them to break. But goodness, what a match that was. That was just game 1. We'll be back with map number 2 here in just a second. Don't go anywhere. So we will keep the same environment, but change the game mode. It will be Hacienda once again, but Search and Destroy will be the mode that we will play here on map number 2. Teams will retain their colors, and Red Reserve will start things off on offense. It looks like they want to push A right off the bat with 1 player Rated sitting over the middle of the ICR. Concussion comes through, and Fellow, ooh, narrowly able to duck right underneath that. Fortunately, he had the tac mask, otherwise he was probably dead. Zero with an ICR from long range will win the fight outside, and Joe has planted the bomb. So now Bance looking for the rotation, but he's mid-reload. Saints will convert on that. Fortunately, Joe was able to trade away, so we're left with a 4-on-3. Favoring the defenders, but the bomb again has been planted. So can Evil Geniuses bait out the time for as long as possible? Goonjar able to find 1, Rated from behind. They'll find a 2nd. Looking for a long distance shot, not able to quite connect. Now a 2-on-2. Bomb planted. Less than 20 seconds left, and Royalty's been spotted, and yeah, Rated will take that fight. Oh, but meanwhile, on the flipped-hand side with the connector, Exotic did take down Joe, so now it's just a 1-on-1. Playing the bomb site was Exotic, and he will find it and get the defuse. Wow. Plenty of time to work with. Oh, it doesn't get it. Oh, no. Within a fraction of a second, I thought for sure he had triggered that before the 7.5-second mark, but shame on me for calling that one too early. Red Reserve, after a successful take of A, will fortunately hang on to the timer. And Exotic, this was the retake from behind. looking for the defuse. We'll find the kill as he head peeks, but does not have the time. And you wonder if he doesn't stop to reload there for a quick second, did he have it? The world may never know. Rated, Joe, and Exotic all finding themselves 2 kills as 9 out of our 10 players die that last round. And now it'll be Evil Genius's turn to look to be a little explosive with the bomb. And then they will take right over the high ground. They don't want to commit to anywhere on the low. Looks like they're just taking up the windows. But Joe has found one, pushed up aggressively. He will be traded away. But can Exotic be taken down? He will. Rated very close. And wow, look at this aggressive defense set up for Red Reserve. Playing this almost like they played their hardpoint match. Zero will scout out Saints, but Saints can't contest. It's not with a SOG. He'll try to, and yeah, that's what you figured would happen. Gunjar did see one opponent across the way, but he's the last player against 3, and well, that's not the fight he wants. We'll find another as well. Tries to wallbang it. We'll find a couple of the hit markers, but not gonna make a difference. Rated from downtown, and he had help from one other right over the open balcony. They'll be able to take them down, so now a 2-0 lead for Red Reserve early on. After that incredible hardpoint match, which just narrowly favored Red Reserve, again, 250 to 232. Rated, there's those double kill that he found right in the open side of the map on that high ground. Improving himself to a whopping 5-1 now. Red Reserve, after their A hit, looks like they found enough success to merit going back once again, but this time Vance will be the one sitting over the middle, watching the rotation. Trophy system will take down a concussion, which will likely allow Evil Geniuses to know that there is some effort being put over here. Zero will find the opening kill onto Royalty, though, so now an opportunity for Red Reserve to move through, but they're playing this one patiently. They have the numbers, and they have plenty of time, and the bomb will be planted down. Looking over the middle towards Fountain is Rated, but not able to trade the shots against Exotic. Meanwhile, elsewhere, there was a 1-for-1 trade, and Joe has actually pushed forward into the AR line of Evil Geniuses. Gunjar being taken down, leaving us with a 4-on-2. Just Fellow and Exotic. And now it's just Exotic, who actually finds himself 2. So a 1-on-2 situation, very doable. Has to commit to the bomb. Will find himself a 3rd. All of a sudden, looking to make this another clutch situation. Will he give himself enough time to defuse? Rated. He'll check the bomb and realize no one's on it. So will back up. And Exotic, he has to push, and he realizes that he will find Rated and take him down. But he, again, does not have enough time. So, again, a little bit of deja vu here. But this time, he will run far enough away to not be exploded. We'll give a little spray down on the well. It's not very sanitary. But regardless, he leaves his mark on this match, even though that his team faces his 3-round differential. And goodness, all of a sudden, this is becoming very out of hand in favor of Red Reserve. But great play from Exotic. Same clipping, 3 players. Talk about confidence. No reload required. So now, Evil Geniuses looking at a 3-round differential, and you know, all things considered, I mean, Exotic is still the closest one to having his specialist equipment, with the exception of Joe, who's very close to his TAC 5. Lots of damage being funneled across the map. Gunjar will find a headshot onto Banson and continues to spray afterwards, looking for potentially more, but I don't think that wallbang succeeded. And there is a flank from behind. Joe tries to come through, but will be taken down by what was essentially the entire Evil Genius team rotating back, and likely that information will be shared. Rated is now playing the rock. He'll find himself 1 with full HP. Scraps up close. This is a nice little crossfire they have set up. Rated will fall. Exotic looking for the kill. Will be able to grab it. And now all of a sudden, he's only 300 points off of having streaks, which would be good to play for, considering this is a 3-on-1 scenario. And it looks like they know exactly where Zero has come from. And now with that information from Lambo, looks like they'll try to get this bomb down. And Zero, he'll be in one heck of a situation. Bomb has been planted. Yep, there it is. Zero wants to make the full rotation, but look at this. Evil Geniuses, Exotic, and Saints are doing the exact same thing, and it's actually Saints who does not get the kill. Whiffed a couple of shots near the end, so now a 1-on-1 scenario. Zero with the bomb to defuse, plus 1 opponent to take down. Well, not necessarily take down, but at least a bomb to defuse. We'll push up closely, but it's Exotic who finds the first shots, and the rapid fire of that Maddox versus the ICR will result in the damage needed. And now all of a sudden, a 3-1 scoreline. Evil Geniuses potentially in the comeback. Here's that opening pick from Gunjar. Able to wall spam and looks for more, but not able to find it. And I believe, yeah, he also got the flanking kill from Joe, who was back here. Again, all of Evil Geniuses rotating back around, so a very successful offense that way. But it wasn't without some drama. That final 1v1 now with their chance to defend. And Exotic has been clutch. He's at 9-2, needs only 50 more points for his kill streaks. Any assist will do. Or cluster nade, potentially, as that's what he offers up first and foremost. But nobody from Red Reserve has gone this direction. And the information will be shared that it likely will be a B hit. And there are 3 players from Red Reserve there. Although Joe and Rated are still lingering just a little bit behind. And the bomb has been planted, so now rotations have to occur from Evil Geniuses, and they are not anywhere near the spots they want to be. Exotic's going to have to back up and do some parkour to get himself up and above. Wants to clear out the office. Will do so successfully. And elsewhere, Royalty is pushing for a flank and has found Rated. Meanwhile, in the water is Goonjar and Exotic. Oh, very low. Wants to survive desperately. These streaks would be huge in their comeback attempt. Joe up close. Will take them up. Royalty still able to find one. And there it is. At least finding himself the lightning strike for the next round. 2-on-3 situation, but the bomb has been planted for Red Reserve. Evil Geniuses desperately need these kills. Here's the 8-second. Fellow was starting to defuse. Needs to hold this off. Goonjar, you have to hold this off, but not able to do so. Oh, and it makes you wonder if he had any kind of weaponry besides the ICR up close there. Would the rate of fire helped him? Not going to make much of a difference as here are these kills from Joe on the flank. Throwing BBs at that range, but still able to find enough shots to connect for at least 1 kill as he rotates back through. And this was the play that really saved the game here. If Exotic lives, Evil Geniuses, I think, have the opportunity to defuse a little bit more safely, but not the case. And now we're looking at a 4-1 scenario as we go into round number 6. Exotic does have that lightning strike. And they are on offense, so if you're going to use it, you're likely going to use it for a little bit of a stagger in the bomb defense after it gets planted. Also has a war machine. Joe still has his TAC 5, hasn't used it yet. Bomb wants to get put down very aggressively, and Red Reserve isn't here to deal with this at the moment. So Exotic will get it. He's gonna pop the lightning strike immediately. At least look for the ping. Will he actually utilize the streak? That's the question. Looks like the answer is yes, he will drop it. But I don't know if I agree with it. Everyone was inside, and Exotic only finds his teammate. And look at this. All of Red Reserve are coming out of the backgrounds, and this is not looking good for Evil Geniuses. A 4-on-2 scenario. Exotic on a little mini flank, but he's got the TAC 5 to go through. He wants to pop out the war machine, but there's a trophy system right in front of you, Exotic. Oh, no. He didn't see it. Oh, no. That is the ultimate feels bad man. And he only is using TAC mask, and you feel like if you're playing battery, you should be playing with an engineer on your kit. So potential mistakes. We're looking at a 5-1 scoreline and a lot of utility used right there for Evil Geniuses. So will they even have a chance to defend against this? Although to be fair, Red Reserve did pop their TAC 5. So this next offense, they will not have any extra HP. But I think there was a war machine for them available. If not, the Tempest for their Prophet player. Oh, just kidding. I couldn't have been further off. The streak that I saw was the Grav Slam from 0 that was close. And full streaks for Joe. After those kills and the defuse, we'll concuss over. We'll find nothing. Evil Geniuses, meanwhile, are aggressively playing their defense right up the middle. And Rated is ready for it. Now pinging the Hellstorm. Had one available to him. Wants to thread the needle and will be able to find it on Saints, who was trying to hide as best as he could in that staircase. And now Joe will plant the bomb, calling the drone squad in this round. Well, it looks to be potentially over. Evil Geniuses have nothing to use to take down this drone squad. And Joe is just going to jiggle peek this corner. Let the drone squad zone of everything out, and he'll just play right on top of the bomb site. Although, oh my goodness, yeah, Joe able to find the kills of the drone squad from Exotic. Now it's just Fellow. No chance whatsoever. A 6-1 scoreline. Red Reserve looking pretty solid. And you have to wonder about those subtle mistakes. You know, using the war machine with the trophy right in front of you. Evil Genius is not quite able to get those 2 defuses by literally fractions of seconds. That is a feel bad, as Exotic really did play his heart out those first few rounds, but it just wasn't enough. So Italy Red Reserve up 2-0 in the scoreline for maps. We'll move on to our control map here in just a moment. And I'm sorry to do it too, but we will actually not be seeing Hacienda. I know how excited you were to see 3 Haciendas in a row, but there is no control point for Hacienda. So we will have to switch the locale. It will be over here on Seaside. A very interesting control map, as point B in that fish market is a pretty even point when it comes down to where to spawn to. And then obviously A is sitting in the church, and that's exactly where Evil Genius want to go first and foremost. And Royalty with the grappled in will be able to take down Bance, although Bance did find 1 kill beforehand. But this is a very aggressive play for Evil Geniuses. If they can find the trade kills underneath church, that will go well for them. They found 1 tick already. Red Reserve do find a couple of tradeaways, and Royalty's gonna have to turn around. He finds one looking for the second. That would have been big if he could, but not able to find it, and Scraps will clean up. And that's kind of the dangerous point about going for A so early, is that you will sacrifice. I mean, there's really no way if you lose out those team fight trades to get back in time. The respawn proximity is just way too favorable to the defensive team, as Raiden does take a splash off the map, it looks like. Not really sure how he did that. Now a B hit coming through. Exotic will take 1 of the double stairs. That was Bance. 1 point has been ticked up at B. And look at this. Zero and Rated are trying to find a way in, but they're waiting for the rest of their team. They have to go soon, though. The second tick has been found. Trophy system down for the recommittal. Good timing on it. Rated will be able to take down 1 of the trades out his life. And Royalty cleaning up with the SOG a little bit further up will allow Evil Geniuses to find their first point. Now they have tons of time to play with and a couple of lives. And Evil Genius is not wasting any of either of those as they come right on in. Looking for 1 more. Rated's up close and personal. Exotic, not sure how he wants to approach it, looking at every different angle, but will eventually hold that church door and needs to back away, wants the shield to come through. I don't believe anyone's going to chase him, although Zero does. Maybe not anticipating that Exotic also had that SOG in hand. Not really sure what he thought he had. No, with some help now from Scraps, they will take him out of that church, which is a very commanding position. Fellow late into the rotate coming into the point. We'll find 1 looking for a second, but Scraps able to turn, and Joe coming up to follow up. We'll be able to trade the kill away, so still just that 1 portion of progression onto A. And now through the cellar will come Evil Geniuses for a different side hit, potentially. Need to clean up the tomb area. We'll take down Bance. He was the last player holding it. Scraps looking from side door. A number of Red Reserve players sitting over just to Royalty's right as he tries to exit this atrium. And we'll push through and find Rated. That's a good kill. They could find 1 more. They could definitely flood this point, and Royalty knows it, wants to grapple in to try to surprise whoever is here, and it will actually surprise Zero, but Rated comes out of spawn. Regardless, it gives the opening for Evil Geniuses to sit onto the point, and looks like they are counting up towards that second tick, and they're holding some good angles at the moment, although Gunjar doesn't win that fight. That's one that you absolutely need to. The second tick has come through. A 3-on-6 scenario for Red Reserve in lives. Make that a 2. Able to find 1, but Scraps lets go of the trigger. He could have found 2. It's just a 5-on-1, and the point is being captured. Joe has to contest, and yeah, he's just going to let this one go and save his life, and he's at 285 on his streaks. He doesn't want to lose them. A smart call, as Evil Geniuses will capture both points and get themselves the first notch of what will need to be 3. I'm sure at this point most of you are familiar with the way that control works, but competitively we've seen a lot of very interesting takes on it. Obviously, there are 2 main objectives that you can play. Either you play for the control points themselves or the lives. And depending on which you decide you want to go for, there are very different strategies involved. Like right there, Evil Geniuses wanted to commit to the point control first and foremost. They commit everything to A, which is, again, a very ambitious point to go for off the bat. You don't know where your opponents are going to be sitting up defensively. Red Reserve does not share that same ambition. They want to go straight for the quote-unquote easier point underneath Fish Market here. And the outside patio will be controlled by Red Reserve. Actually, all 5 kills, pardon me, just 4 kills coming through. Will result in very early capture. And again, you do capture the point faster depending on how many players are on it. So stacking this one up, and now Joe with streaks. He'll pop the lightning strike to try to keep the rotation at bay. The Hellstorm comes through as well with that kill, although the lightning strike comes up empty. Regardless, with that point capture, giving him an extra bit of points, he's able to reach all the way up to the drone squad. And he has attack 5. So if they were to commit to this, it would be with attack 5 and potentially a drone squad together. Concussion coming out to try to find anyone sitting at the white van. Nobody's there. I like this play a lot. Zero and Joe rotating around with SOGs. That's a lot of firepower up close and personal. Although this is not the angle you want to take if you're Joe. Gunjar will prone up, and Exotic will come to support. But you kind of hope that they would come back through and push that together from the flank, but there is no pinch in this form. Live still in favor of Red Reserve, although being traded out pretty nicely for Evil Geniuses as they're now starting to set up defensively. And again, Joe still sitting on what looks to be a Hellstorm and a Drone Squad. Yep, the Hellstorm will come out, but it's about everybody from Evil Geniuses will just escape inside the Sanctuary of Church. Meanwhile, Rated has on the long flank. Joe pinching from the front, and two players are actually pinching on the right-hand side, so a full surround onto this Church from Red Reserve. Looking solid, but Gunjar and Saints able to at least trade away their lives, holding off enough time for these respawns to come on in. And again, Joe still has not used that Drone Squad. You wonder if it wouldn't have been better timing to use it in that last push that just occurred. Regardless, he's 10-5, so you can't critique his gameplay too much. Scraps a little patient. Taking a kneel next to that pew. Will now move on in. But the grab slam, I don't know if I like that from Royalty there. He traded out 2 kills, and he pops a teammate as well as smushing Scraps. Regardless, a 7-kill advantage for Red Reserve. No progress made on this point, though. Anything can happen. Trophy system B's used. Saints very close to having attack 5 of his own. This is a cheeky play. Comes a little bit up and down, but does not catch anyone by surprise. But it would have been a good idea if anyone was coming through that front door. Would have immediately put him behind everybody, but not the case. It's now Red Reserve with the kills. Will put themselves in the point. Oh, that's a fight that you would love to have had. Gunjar wants to push the side door, and he's got an angle. Oh, Scrap's able to turn, though. Wow, that's not the fight that he should have won. Zero, you need to push into that. Regardless of now, a full little mini flank comes through as Evil Geniuses want to contest, but they don't get there in time. So our score gets tied up at 1. And just like if you watched the previous video with Straight Rippin' and Lightning Pandas, it seems like in day 1, just about everybody is winning their offense on control. I've not seen too many fortified defenses, at least in the 2 games that we've casted so far. Now, Evil Geniuses, will they try to pull something for A? Looks like Red Reserve is a little bit more prepared for it as they're sending 2 players, though, although there was someone who just grappled over to the side stairs from the middle portion of that tank in front of the church. Evil Geniuses biding their time, want to find an opening pick, but it's a grab slam that comes through, plus the Tempest. The timing is good, and I don't know if you needed to use both at the same time, but regardless, they find 3 kills and push Evil Geniuses away from that first attempt, although Gunjar is able to at least find some silver linings with that kill on Rated. Not going to make much of a difference objectively, though. Now Exotic, he wants to find some angles, but he's he's way up here. He's got to be careful. Wants to flank all the way around through spawn. If he could spawn trap up Zero, it would be great. Rated wants to help out, and that's good help. Just to be sure that Zero gets out of spawn safely. Saints trying to do the same thing against Scraps, who had something similar in mind, but now, again, 26 seconds only left, and attack 5 gets popped, so you figure all 5 players for Evil Geniuses want to push into this fish market. Saints with a little bit of a bait right there. Gunjar coming through. We'll be able to find 2 kills on those mid stairs, so now all of a sudden, the first tick, and with players on top, that might be all that is needed. And Red Reserve looks like they have no interest in recontesting this. They have a 3-kill lead, and they just want to set up for any potential cheeky flanks that could be coming out for point A. Concussion up and over. Well, we'll connect onto attack mass, but the Tempest also was popped by, I'm not sure who. It's still being used, though, and looks like that's Gunjar. Yes, it is. Able to find himself 2 shot kills. And now he's got a good spot to potentially hold down this spawn, although he misses the hip fire and does get, I believe, stuck by that cluster grenade from Bance. Now countering with one is Exotic. We'll toss one to the main entryway, but there are players from Red Reserve coming in from the side door, which Saints and Fellow are happy to accept, but oh goodness. Joe's able to hold on just narrowly. 1.5 ticks were completed for Evil Geniuses, but that's being depleted pretty quickly. Even on kills, 11-11, under a minute to play. Vision Pulse popped for Red Reserve, which will keep Evil Geniuses at bay for a short amount of time. Concussion is used. Not able to push through, though. Too much distance to cover there. And a War Machine has been utilized as well by Bance. Able to find 1, and that's just a lot of time off the clock. Good stagger of time, forcing Evil Geniuses to bide kind of patiently with bated breath.
Royalty up and over. Did he see the player that he was just over the top of? The answer is no, but he pushes through with the intention of finding the back line, but only scraps will fall from it. Now 6 on 8 for the score lives, but oh goodness, this play from Joe. He's keeping her from Evil Geniuses away, knowing that they have a lot of distance to cover if they want to even touch capture point A. They will be able to touch with just under 5 seconds. 4 on 6 scenario, looking for the kills. Oh my goodness, Evil Geniuses have found them. Joe needs to work his way in. And with all these players stacked for Evil Geniuses, in the nick of time, it's a 3 on 2 scenario, but they're capturing this point so quickly. Rated is coming over through the left-hand side house. It will be contested from behind, but Rated is taken down, and Bance won't be able to make his way in. And Evil Geniuses, by the skin of their teeth, able to come in down on lives and the clock ticking against them. Will clean up this point very nicely. This play from Exotic not only finds 3 kills, but he saves a teammate. And that's huge when it came to the kill differential. And Evil Geniuses looking solid on this late retake. 2-1 in the score. And they've got a couple of streaks to use. Joe is still holding on to that drone squad, by the way. I'm not saying, but I'm saying, and he pops it way too early. IMO. It's a lot of seconds utilized from it where he's nowhere near the engagement, but regardless, Lightning Strike comes out for Saints, and we'll actually find the drone squad, so that's not good. And 2 kills on top of it, so now all of a sudden, Evil Geniuses have an opportunity to push on in and break this point, but Scraps is just hiding in a corner and is able to come back and help out the engagement on the point. Now the second tick about to fill up. It will. Now TAC 5 being popped for Red Reserve. Why not? Trophy system takes care of the would-be concussed 2 players that were in there. But the point has been captured successfully without much of a challenge from Evil Geniuses. Again, with a 200 HP, there wasn't really much that they could do, not to mention the trophy system taking care of any deployable that came on in. So now a 6-kill lead for Red Reserve. Nix that, we'll make it just a 5. Rated will put 1 paw on top of this point, but does not realize Exotic has come from behind. Bance on the long left-hand sided flank will be taken out. Well, he did find a number of kills, trading away 3 for his life. That's totally worth it. And at what point does Exotic want to use the War Machine? If at all. That could even up the kill count very quickly. Or do you save it for potentially your last push? I think at this point it looks like Bance has actually moved on. He's nowhere near his. But if you're Evil Geniuses, even if you lose this round, you can force out some specialists and retain yours. It puts you in a really good spot for what would be your last offense. But now only down 3 kills. All of a sudden this looks very winnable. No progress on 8. Nearing the 60-second mark. And Evil Geniuses have 5 stacked inside this church. Trophies available. Obviously, the TAC 5 had been used. Only Fellow retains some of that gold health bar. Goonjar still has what I imagine is a lightning strike, and here it comes. Does find a headshot underrated. And I don't believe these explosions will find anything, as Red Reserve had been pushed out just previous to him using it. So now just down 1 kill. Red Reserve, can they put this one away? Again, they have a grab slam. They have a War Machine. Nothing is available for Red Reserve. You could find a way to get high value. And look at that. Scrap saw the very tippy top of Goonjar's head there. And find the opening shots, but not able to win the trades. Grab slam comes in and Royalty. That's well played. He finds himself 2. And now all of a sudden, 14-11. Things are looking dire for Red Reserve. Inside the top of Church is 0 with nowhere to go. And he's got to respawn all the way back out. He's got a long way to trek. This is going to have to be a 4v5 committal. And I think at this point, Exotic, yeah, he pulls out the War Machine. It's ticking down. 3 seconds left, 14 on 7. Evil Geniuses, they're going to hold on to this one, no problem. And they will. A 3-1 scoreline favoring Evil Geniuses on control. So all of a sudden, EG making a game out of it. Still, the scoreline reads 1-2 favoring Red Reserve in maps. We will go down to another hard point. And if Evil Geniuses win that, we will be looking at a potential reverse sweep scenario. Here are these opening kills from Rated. I don't know how he didn't see Saints the first time around, but regardless, he still makes it a 2-piece. And that will be all that is said for Control. We'll be back in just a moment as we look to go back to our second round of Hardpoint. And here we are. Gridlock will be our location for our second hard point. And the scoreboard just flashed 2-0. It is 2-1, keep in mind, for Red Reserve. Also, the scoreboard appears to be backwards as well, so the colors will be representative of your teams. Again, that first early control point in the middle will actually favor Red Reserve, but Gunjar's actually using a swordfish from long range. He's already made this thing sing out twice for 2 kills, and all of a sudden, Evil Geniuses turned this one away, but Gunjar playing a little bit more of an over-aggressive angle than he should have been. Will be taken down by the ICR of Scraps, who hasn't been using the ICR much lately. It's been a lot of rated users using that ICR, but Scraps is making it work. It looks like they are running a double ICR setup, actually. Scraps will pick up a SOG and look to recontest a little bit more in close combat with this capture point getting to just about 20 seconds left, and Evil Geniuses have looked to be no intention of recontesting it as they are setting themselves up behind this bus stop, the food truck, and all these emergency vehicles, which do not seem to be doing much for that highway that has collapsed all around it. Long distance shots from Gunjar, again, now picking up the ICR, looking like the swordfish was only a momentary thing. And he's got a couple players long, but rated as one of the other AR players. Zero trying to push up a little bit more aggressively. Has been ticked up a lot. Concussion comes through, but no follow-up as the cluster grenade from Exotic will take down Zero. So a lot of capture coming out for Evil Geniuses as they have already gotten about 15 seconds. Looking for more. Joe wants to contest, but not on Gunjar's watch. Scraps from behind. Oh, have they flipped the spawns? They have. So all of that patience from Red Reserve was well merited as they pinched. And it was enough to secure the spawns in favor of Red Reserve. So now it comes down to Evil Geniuses. Can they swing this one back in their favor? You don't want to flip spawns at this point. You just want to contest as long as possible for the last 24 seconds. Now, it looks like up front they have found a couple of in-hill kills, resulting in, again, a lot of extra capture. Rated has no way of contesting this, or it looks like no desire, as now they're rotating through the middle. Meanwhile, on our fellow, he has moved all the way back through, I don't even know what to call that little Zen garden, I guess it is, from the backside of this next point, but Rated trying to sniff out this flank. We'll find one. Does he realize there's a second even closer? It looks like the answer was no, and won't be able to find the trade. Would have been a nice turn if he could, but regardless, Red Reserve looks a little vulnerable here on this hill. Although, as I say that, Zero on top of the showers will find himself 3 kills. Even though 2 of them were off screen, the work was done, and this tree hill is now putting Red Reserve in favor. That's about 35 seconds left to capture, and Evil Geniuses will 5-man stack the shower side. 1 kill traded away, and Fellow and Saints want to move on in. Cluster nade used, sliding through and jumping, but not able to find the kills for Fellow. And Scraps will find himself too, holding on to this point for as long as possible. At this point, you just have to play your life and hope that there's enough support. And wow, he's actually staying alive for a very long time. Just the last 10 seconds, and look at this. This is the ultimate trap for Red Reserve. Watching anybody coming out of these gardens. Although, I don't think Rated expected there to be a second player. Fortunately, Bance was there to help him out. Now looking for the backside, and look at that. A little bit of help for me. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, as Exotic goes down before he can take any shots at Bance. And again, this little tea shop is in control of Red Reserve. And this is likely, like I think, is by far the hardest point to break. Although Exotic will get a stick onto Rated with that cluster grenade, although he does trade out his life for the trouble. But still, even with those kills, Red Reserve still controlling the point. Now in contest. Gunjar moving on in, but Scraps has no intention of letting this go as of yet. Rated also trying to sweep on in. We'll be able to do so, and yeah, look at this. They swarm through. Saints from right behind will take shots at the back of the kneecaps of Rated, but tries the reload, but will cancel it nicely to make sure Zero does get shot at and taken down. So all of a sudden, Evil Geniuses will take the scrap time here, and the second rotation of hardpoints will occur. And a little bit of trading happening over the middle of the map as Saints will finish out the time. 200 popped. Well timed as well, as he's got himself on a pretty good flank. Will scout out that the spawns are coming from the other side of the map and just wants to hold down this yellow connector. Rated, trying to peek long, but will be baited out by Fellow. That's a good little bait for his teammate of Gunjar. Trophy system on point, doing well. The 200 was also popped for side Red Reserve, but they're not finding a lot of success getting in here. This trophy system doing a lot of work on concussions that 2 were thrown at. A little bit of a jump peek there from Fellow as he mounts up and comes back down, but Evil Genius is looking solid. Concussion coming out now for Fellow. We'll be able to find a stun, but it was attack masked away, so trades actually do come through, and the kill totals favor the team in red. Still in contest, and wow, Gunjar able to find himself 2 kills with that little jumping play. Thank you, FMJ, for that little bit of damage. It's a cheeky little peek. Hellstorm comes out just to secure the last bit of seconds. And we will see Evil Geniuses at 119, but again, Red Reserve controlling the spawns for the second hard point. We'll be able to try to keep themselves in touch, but Zero is playing a very long flank and then comes right back towards the spawn, realizing they need the numbers to play. Lightning Strike coming out for Fellow. Gunjar and Saints also with streaks. And Exotic with the War Machine is holding everybody from Red Reserve off. Even on the corner there, Joe will be taken down. And there's also a drone squad in play. 26 seconds still left as we near the 150 mark for Evil Geniuses. Saints, the drone squad will find one as it's still kind of floating just outside Sushi, and Gunjar is able to find long distance kills again onto the spawn, and now the rotations have to come through. 10 seconds left in the hill. It'll just be Gunjar holding off for as long as possible. Royalty grab slams literally exactly on top of where Scraps was. Now Lightning Strike coming through immediately onto the central point of that hill. This new hill of the tree area, but it won't find anything. The fight is happening indoors, and it will be the showers controlled by Red Reserve. And Gunjar, oh, he's got himself a Tempest out. Able to find one, and that's it. Rated with a long distance shot. The ICR will be able to take him down while he was trying to finish it off. And now how about this? It will be Scraps pulling out the Tempest as well. Desperately needing points on this hill, but he does not see Gunjar on the side. So Tempest for Tempest, only after finding 1 kill. Zero will find 2 and then grab slam a 3rd. And Bance also has pulled out the War Machine for his squad. So Red Reserve throwing a lot at this point, realizing if they can control this, they can put themselves not only within reach, but only within a couple of points of Evil Geniuses. The Vision Pulse will give the information that Evil Geniuses have given up on this tree pull. And we'll try to go for the T-Shop. And coming through the broken window is Rated, trying to get on through, but Royalty will backhand him real quick. But again, Zero has been super consistent with the SOG on these early rotations, but not enough damage to take down Royalty for what would have been the 3rd kill. Speaking of, he's in a pretty good spot. Wants to trace down one more who was low, but there's no ammo in that weapon. Now in an awkward spot is Royalty trying to back up, but Zero won't let him get a chance to make a play. And Red Reserve will actually overthrow Evil Geniuses from that T-Shop and look to try to make this an even ball game. Fellow with a concussion for some reason. I'm sure he had his, but that wouldn't have been able to find much. Even if he did hit it, he was pretty far away from being able to convert a kill. Now trying to recontrol, they'll pop a very aggressive Vision Pulse trophy system in play. Oh, well, the Vision Pulse helps you with enemies being targeted, but not if they come from behind, as Rated was able to find 1. Royalty will trade away 2 more, but the scrap time will go the way of Red Reserve, and that is important. And I think on these last hills, that scrap time is totally worth going for, simply because this middle point, especially on Gridlock, is a very much so a 50-50 play with a lot of cover in the central area. Royalty will be taken down by Scraps, and Fellow, unfortunately, taking down a teammate means that the numbers are relatively even, but Gunjar has come back to the fight. This ICR can wreak havoc, and that's exactly what it does. But, oh, plays a little aggressively there. Slides on out. Won't be able to find the kill onto Scraps. Meanwhile, the rest of the Evil Genius squad will be able to heal up and get attack 5 and hold out the majority of this point. They cannot win off this point, but it would be good to hold as many points as possible to put the pressure on to Red Reserve, who are now contesting. Scrap sliding on in. But wow, look at this angle from Fellow. Exotic as well, getting himself involved. No ammo on the Maddox. And Fellow is left trying to pick up the scraps of whatever weapons are nearby, and it looks like it's just gonna be a SOG. He's got himself 5 points away from a full streak, but you gotta watch out. Rated is right around the corner, and it will take him down. Lightning Strike was not used, and Red Reserve with that kill, that was a huge kill. We're able to find some scrap time, and now the Hellstorm comes in from Fellow, not gonna find anything. Red Reserve with a couple of kills, trying to put this one in contest, and will be able to do so. But again, the spawns are still favoring Evil Geniuses. Fellow pulls out the Lightning Strike again, and now this time, for the 3rd time, he will actually look to utilize it. But again, where is that gonna land? The answer is absolutely nowhere. Very difficult map to be utilizing airborne streaks, and we're above 200 now for Red Reserve, as there's a full flank coming out for Evil Geniuses. They came through the middle and looked for a pinch, and it'll be successful. Yeah, absolutely. Able to clean up Sushi and the last player sitting in boxes, and now looking for the late rotation is Royalty, and he will grab slam, but only finds one. Couldn't quite get over the corner, which I think he wanted to. Regardless, he had his teammates there, and Evil Geniuses with that play will secure it and take the win, 250 to 201. A very good set. So that'll put Evil Geniuses back to 2-2 now in the scoreboard. Again, this was still from day one, second game of the pool play. We'll be going to game 5 here in just a bit. And here we are. We will again keep the same location. These teams do not like to go very far. Not much of the traveling type, as we will be here on Search and Destroy, a 2-2 scoreline. Evil Genius is looking to pull off the reverse sweep against Red Reserve. It's going to come down to this. Bance finds the opening kill in the game on Royalty, and where do they go from here is the big question. As Evil Geniuses look to want to move on their way over towards B. That's exactly where they're going to go. Saints with the bomb will start to plant it, and it will go down. Now Red Reserve with 5 players have 3 to kill and 1 thing to defuse. And Exotic is in a very good spot. If he can find the opening shots, we'll be able to do so onto Joe. Makes us a little bit more even. Bance is close. Will he also challenge? Does he know he's here? We'll slide in, and Bance will find the kill. So now, Saints from the orange connector. He wants to get on top of this, and Bance has no idea. 1 taken down. On the bomb, though. Scraps is on the bomb, and he found the defuse in time. How did nobody check that? Oh, no. What a catastrophe for Evil Geniuses. They put themselves even in numbers, but nobody was able to keep themselves in line of sight of the bomb. As you can see, the spam fire going out to the back of the food truck, and yeah, just not even a stretch defuse, just laying down essentially right on top of it with Scraps, and that one was stolen away from Red Reserve. Goodness. Put them up 1-0, and now Bance with the bomb. Where do he and the rest of the team want to go? How big would it be if they find themselves a second round after that mistake? Royalty will get tagged up, but we'll stay alive. Some return fire is here, just a warning, and Royalty has the Koshka of all things. We'll find the opening shot onto 0. Sog being used for Scraps as usual. We'll take down the close quarters action. Now Fellow in the yellow connector, and wow, that was an aggressive slide from Scraps as he was still healing up. He wants to push on through. The bomb has been planted at B, and he wants to try to hold this down by the boxes as long as possible. And you can see Red Reserve, I think they're feeling a little bit more comfortable about where they planted the bomb. As you can see where they're rotating back towards, do not want to get flanked whatsoever. Joe will go a little bit further over towards the middle, and he's going to rotate all the way around. Bance with the opening kill in this transaction against Fellow will be traded away. But again, a lot of damage being funneled, and now Saints with a very aggressive push. That might be the space that they need, but someone's got to come close to the bomb. Both players, Evil Geniuses, are pushing all the way up. They do find the kill, but they have no idea, I think, where Joe is. And he will spray down. Oh, not able to finish the kill on the Saints. Now he will. Bomb will be picked up, but it's a mere formality at this point. The one-on-one will go the way of Joe, and look at that all of a sudden. One small misplay from Evil Geniuses means that Red Reserve will not only find the first round, but because of it, also come through and find the second. A very aggressive play from Evil Geniuses there, knowing they needed to push on forward to try to take down any ICR players sitting by the food truck. Here it was. Saints able to take down the one player sitting at Taxi and has to push forward into boxes as well. We'll find another, and I believe he called out the third, so a much needed push that happened, but a lot of time left off the clock because of it. Red Reserve will find themselves their first 2 rounds, and so far, the biggest star performer has been Saints as he pulled off that flank from round 1. He's sitting at 4-2. And he's closest to using his specialist, attack 5. About 60% of the way charged. Exotic pushing forward again, this time on the B, but no one cleared out his yellow connector. Saints will trade it, but the bomb was so close to being put down, and now Joe wants to peek. The concussion came out as well. Not going to make much of a difference as he will back up and play his life. Underneath, though, Gunjar finding 0, and we'll turn around to make sure nothing's in the flank. No, there's actually nothing there. A 2-on-1 scenario now for Evil Geniuses, as there were trades. Royalty picks up the bomb, looks for the kill, and a Joe, and we'll be able to catch him just as he jumps out of the window. Very fortunate timing there for Royalty. Puts them now just down 1 round, 1-2, as we go into round numero 4. Here's that play from Royalty. Being a man of many angles. Scraps had no chance. Now with the timing of that peak, if he gets there maybe a second sooner, could have been different, but not the case. And sometimes, you know, you look at those plays back and you say, well, what do you want me to do? You know, it's literally a 1 second rotation. Not much you can do there. Sheer timing things. Now, bomb. Scraps did not see the players behind him. But how does he live? Wow, Royalty able to find 2. That patient play as he went prone right on top of the bomb site. Nobody saw him there. What a clutch play that was. Meanwhile, though, the bomb has been used, pardon me, not used, but picked up by Bance, who will clear out bomb site A, but he does not have the information if anyone else is there, unfortunately, so he will back up, play this one a little bit more cautiously. Just a 4-on-2 scenario, favoring the side of Evil Geniuses. Exotic push on forward, and we'll find the bomb carrier of Bance. Zero, again, utilizing a sniper rifle. He has picked up a SOG, though, as what it will now be his secondary. It was a Mozu previously, and it looks like he's going to just jump out of the map. Not wanting to feed any more streaks as players are from Evil Geniuses, getting very close to their specialists. And again, why is that important if you're a little unfamiliar? Yes, those equipment charges do move slowly over time, but they get boosted based on eliminations. So you do not want to give up any more than you have to, especially this late in the game. It's still a close game. You don't want to give anyone an advantage here as we are drawn up 2-2. Saints inching closer and closer to that TAC 5. Meanwhile, Band sitting at 5 and 4 is about one part of that hexagon away, getting his war machine. Opening shots will connect into Royalty's body. The information is gained, but trying to play up close in quarters is Saints and Royalty, and they will be able to find 2. The cluster grenade coming through, and Royalty will clear up the bomb site. So this is the first hit we've seen over here at A from either team so far. And it looks to be a pretty even trade of kills. Actually, completely even. And Fellow will find the last kills onto 0. So Evil Geniuses will be able to narrowly inch out that round. It was a bloodbath. Goodness. About a 30-second round right there. Here were these kills from Goonjar. He does, unfortunately, take it on a teammate. But, oh, he wants to help out here first. Yeah, he took out a teammate immediately afterwards. But regardless, the help was good. Saints and Evil Geniuses with the opportunity to use TAC 5. They use it at the first chance they get. Royalty very close now. His grab slam. All of a sudden, again, this is a very early fight in the showers. Sogs ringing out for both teams, but it's actually just a full-on trade. 3-on-3 action here on the left-hand side of the map for our attackers. The bomb has been dropped as well as Bance did fall. And Goonjar able to pick up one more, so now all of a sudden Evil Geniuses might be able to find their first lead of the search and destroy. Pushing on in his Royalty, and Raiden not able to track down the shots. Joe will trade away 1, but it's a 2-on-1 scenario, and he will be double challenged. No chance there as he was mid-heal. Joe will fall, and Evil Geniuses now up 4-2 all of a sudden. Very difficult challenge there from Royalty. Slides into the ICR player, and then fortunately gets the jump peak on the last player. That is a very ballsy challenge. You have no idea if that ICR player had fallen back, and again, even if it's at a little bit of range, that ICR can melt you comparatively to what the SOG can do. But now Evil Geniuses on offense, they want to head back towards B, which honestly, based on what we've seen with the setups that teams are running, this seems to be the more difficult point to take. But once you do, there is a lot of potential to this play. Clutch spots for that bomb plant as Joe and Raiden are trying to flank behind, but Goonjar says, not today, not on my watch. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Bance will find Fellow, who is trying to get a little bit over-aggressive towards the Red Reserve spawn. The bomb has been planted, a 4-on-2 scenario for Evil Geniuses, and now it's just Scraps left alive. He's playing the L turn. We'll be able to find 1 kill, but the information is gained. Needs to find a way out. Royalty's right behind him, and Exotic from up front with the Maddox. We'll find him at mid-range, and that will all of a sudden put this one at match point for Evil Geniuses in our 5th game. 5-2 scoreline, and here's that flag from Goonjar. Thank you. And 1 more for the road. Thank you. Very close fight there. Raiden just needed 1 more shot to really land. So Gunjar, too prepared. He's sitting at 5-3. Not been super active, but active enough, obviously. And the 10-4 of royalty. Goodness gracious. He still has that grab slam, and it comes down to what do you use here? Do you just put this one away for Evil Geniuses? You're on defense. Got a lot of specialties to use, and I believe Gunjar saw fractions of Bance's profile there. Royalty up front on bomb site B. Oh, goodness. Does he have any idea that there's a player above him? I don't think he saw him move up there. Red Reserve, stretch planning. Overall, I'll tell you, if you only knew. He'll grab slam, he only finds one. Nah, I don't know if it was worth it. Zero and Scraps able to find 2 more trades. Now it's a 4-on-3. Made that a 3-on-3 as Saints able to find 1. And whoa, Joe able to help out with that one. And Scraps was in a little bit of trouble after his first engagement. Just down to Saints as he was flanking through the mid-street. And the bomb has been planted at this point with nothing to use. Looks like it's... Oh, wow, you had to win that gunfight. How do you lose that fight? I'm sure Scraps is probably thinking the same thing. This is the long distance hold from Zero. And that ICR with that FMJ, super integral to be utilizing on Search and Destroy, specifically as it does find connections through not only walls, but also the bomb site, which is arguably the more important of the two. Gunjar has a Tempest available as you hear it getting charged up and ready to activate. Attack 5 being popped, and the War Machine, I believe, as well. Scraps, a lot of utility being used here. This is an all-out gunfight happening over in the showers at bomb site A. Will tilt in favor. Red Reserve, a 4-on-3 after the War Machine is popped. The Tempest is popped. Bance's will run out of charges on the War Machine. The Attack 5 also utilized for Red Reserve, so a must-win fight here. If you obviously, if you lose this one, the set's over. But even if this wasn't for match point, you pop all of these, and this is a round you have to win. Scraps will run out of time on the Tempest, but that's fine. The Maddox will still hold true for him. Looking for a right side play. Evil Geniuses, but Bance is there to take care of it. Not today. Red Reserve holds that one down very nicely. The early specialists used will put this within 1 now, 5-4 scenario. Again, map 5. Here is that play from Scraps. Right as the Tempest expires. A beautiful peek. Come back for help. Only 1 player left. Easy. Well played. Red Reserve playing very patiently. When they have the numbers, that's exactly what you want to see. And now, all of a sudden, very doable for Red Reserve, as a lot of the utility has been popped for both teams, although Exotic and Gunjar, they have their Tempest and their War Machine. And you use one or the other here, I think, is the consideration, as Gunjar wants to find that same junk peak he had previously to the top of Highway, but he won't see anything. He has to be patient. This is not the flank route that he wants. Okay, now it could be. With the Tempest available, he sees one sliding across. Bomb has been down. Zero gets connected with. But can he get there to connect on the kill? There's a lot of players up close to help out, and Raid is able to take down Gunjar. So now all of a sudden with Exotic also having popped the War Machine and finding nothing with it, all of a sudden Red Reserve with the 2-on-2 scenario, very winnable. Now it's a 2-on-1, and Fellow does not have his heal up. The bomb is down. Spam shots coming out. They know where Joe is, but Fellow, oh my goodness, Joe. It's a nice little peek to gain some space for your teammate and then re-peeking for the kill, but wouldn't have made a difference. Zero was there. Now all of a sudden, with all of that utility being used for Evil Geniuses and finding absolutely nothing, we're with a 5-on-5 map count. Round 11. Goodness gracious. I don't believe there's any specialists available. Nope. Zero's close. 1 kill will give Zero his grab slam. But that is by no means a for sure thing. With him only sitting at 5 and 6, Scraps has full streaks. That's not good. Full ping the Lightning. Trying to get an idea of where his opponents are. And he actually calls it in. Finds a hit marker connection onto 1 player. Looked to be. Now trying to commit to bomb site B. Gunjar's the first blood. All of a sudden, things look very winnable for Red Reserve. Evil Genius is fully stacking onto A as well. There's nobody on either flank. This is just flat out who wins this fight. Numbers favoring Red Reserve. Fellow able to trade that away, making it a 4-on-4. Joe has no idea that Saints was sitting on top of that mirror, and he finds himself 2. And all of a sudden, Evil Geniuses with Saints finding 3. They are to clean everything up, and Evil Geniuses take it in map 5, round 11, 6-5. Goodness. What a play from Saints. Nobody saw him. He's able to turn the corner and clean up 3. Woo. Does not get much closer than that. Again, that was the second round of the pool play on the first day. There's a lot of numbers flying around. My head is trying to keep up with it. Between these two teams, Evil Geniuses after that would now move up to 2-0. Surprisingly, to a lot of people, this is the team that got smashed online everywhere. I don't even think they've placed in the top 32 during the 2K events that happened. And the CMG Pro Downs, they were smashed. And all of a sudden, Evil Geniuses, all of a sudden, how many more times can I say all of a sudden? We're 2-0. Red Reserve, surprisingly, the opposite, 0-2, as they would look to try to turn their pool play around. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That is the CWL replay from Red Reserve versus Evil Geniuses. I've been Shift. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope I catch you on the... Words are escaping me. Can I collect myself real quick? Can I just give me a second? Hope I catch you guys on the next one, which if you want, will be right at the end of this video. So until then, keep you... Oh, goodness. Hope that you keep holding it down. Later, bye-bye.